I'm the voice, and this is the Divi Community Updates, episode 21. And boy, we're going to talk about Bitcoin reserves, all sorts of fun things. And today I've got with me Rob and I've got Neegs. How's it going, guys?
It's good. Have we spoken since I've been back from events? I'm just forgetting now.
We had not yet. No. So we're still the same people. Hey, everyone.
It's still the same people. Yes.
I think we didn't.
I have a little different avatar today, but yeah.
That's true. Oh, yeah, we can acknowledge that.
Voice's new and improved avatar.
No, I'm just using it just for fun right now. That's all right.
But he's younger. That's for sure.
Yes.
Like he lost the beard.
Been working out.
Doesn't look like a librarian anymore.
Yeah. I don't look like a librarian or a professor.
Oh, a professor. Yeah, that's right.
Cool. So yeah, I just couldn't remember if we've done this since I've been to Hong Kong and Denver for events there, and I don't think and if we have done this, then no, I don't think we have.
No, that's true. We talked very shortly last update, but let's add that because we didn't have that in the planning.
Yeah, totally forgot. Sorry. So we have for those listening, we have a kind of an agenda that we go through, and we kind of left that out. So now we'll put it back in.
There you go.
Okay, what do you guys want to talk about first? We are experiencing this fun time where Bitcoin just dipped into the 70s. And yay.
Yeah, so there was a lot of excitement with like Bitcoin Reserve and a ton of other things that, Bitcoin Reserve will have some time to talk about in a few minutes, but there was a lot of speculation with what would happen with Trump. And then since then, there has been like some meme coin, some rug pools, and like basically all the best flavors of the crypto industry. And people are not feeling great about it.
Yeah.
And now that the dump is coming, I mean, we can also talk that the stock market is not going great. So it is kind of a widespread thing. It is what he said is it's a reaction to the policies that are being taken, right? I think it was also announced that the beginning will be difficult because, of course, when you cut all those things, this money was going somewhere, right? So the economy is expected to contract unless they have other measures, and of course, the fear is always leading with those things in the markets. So I think that's what we're seeing. Not only the crypto meme impact, but also some broader economical situation.
Yeah. And anytime you say you don't have other means, that means you're taking money from somewhere else or you're printing money. You just have to do it. Anybody who's run a household budget and had to manage their own finances knows that when things are tight, it's generally not a good idea to just go out and keep spinning up credit cards.
Right.
It's just not a good idea.
But when you have an economy that is basically dependent on those money injection, of course, all the traders and everyone who is speculating around this, which is basically how it works, right? In open markets, they're basically betting against that. Like they're saying, hey, now that there will be less money going to like those actors, then for them it is bearish, right? So, and of course the tariff are not known to increase the volume of transfer, right? So of course this is also fueling some bearish speculations. So I think it's just it's part of that. Oh, I wanted to add that a few months ago when we were, I think at 80K or something like that. I think maybe below that, before we went to 100K, we were talking about the fact that we can't just go up continuously because otherwise the bull market will finish too early, right? And we don't know yet if it's the end of the bull market, right? We're not making predictions here. However, even for a second leg, it kind of needed this moment where it goes up and down. It kind of consolidates those new levels.
And I don't know. So that's possible. And I've definitely seen tweets saying, "Hey, you're not ready for what's coming," and like there's a little bump with them, and then it takes off. I will tell you that I have talked to some investors who are really down about crypto right now. I've also noticed, like back a year ago or more, when I personally, again, not predictions, but this is just my observation. When I look at how much, in terms of percent, how much Bitcoin spikes each 4 years, like the first one, well, it went from 0 to infinity, right? So like that, right, it went from 0. So that first one went up, but the next spike up went like 11,000%. The next one was like 400%. No, 4,000%, I think. Now I don't remember the exact numbers. Yeah. But when you take that that drop in the ratio of how much it rises over the last peak, and you just take that forward, what I was saying over a year ago was like this peak is going to be like between 80 and 100, and we surpassed it. So and everyone is telling me I'm nuts because of these other reasons, and those other reasons were perfectly valid. Like they were like, if you look at how the spike happens after this other event, then it does something different than what I said. But there are ways to say that we are out of the bull already. And then there's also people who are very clear for perfectly just as valid reasons as I have. Mine was just, numbers on a paper, that, we haven't gotten into it yet. So, again, no predictions, but
yeah, there are definitely the two versions. I think that both are not coming from the same place. So some are looking at past performance, right? And past performance. So what you mentioned in the beginning, which is like waiting for, like you're not ready for what you will see. This is, of course, the scenario. But then the 2021 scenario is possible too, which is like a double top. I don't know if you remember, but we hit something like 64, and then we hit something like 68, or not something much higher, but we did that curve, right, and got back up there. This is also a scenario. And then there is like the doom scenario where we basically already are in the bull market, right?
Yep, exactly.
So of course these are all possible. I think that a month ago or something like that, when everything was basically like the hype was at the top, he was definitely having some smell of end of cycle, right? But it could just be an end of the temporary cycle and not the overall bull market. We'll see what's coming. I'm still pretty optimistic. I don't think we're out yet, but yes, we might have some more months of struggle before the last part, and otherwise we'll see.
Yeah, some of that also is the kind of like announcements we've gotten. So let's kind of review again. What I'm about to say is not anti-Trump. I'm just saying that it's crystal clear from the Bitcoin. I mentioned this back then, from the Bitcoin conference back in July. Trump definitely was looking for voters, and clearly doesn't understand crypto back then. He'd say things that would rile people up. When you listen to what he says, you're like, you don't actually understand any of this. And then he comes on the scene as president with a meme coin. So like the shittiest of shit coins that there are is what he comes on the scene. And then his first tweet has Ripple, Solana, and Cardano in it, and doesn't even mention Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? And then finally he kind of like comes back around, and then it's he mentions Ethan and Bitcoin. So he's just not really, like, he's just saying things, and like, that picture you just put up, right? He said in one sentence following the other, saying, like, never sell your Bitcoin. And then I don't know if that's right or wrong. Who the hell knows? I mean, like, he's like, let's not pretend he's a crypto person, right? He might be a person who makes it easier for us to have businesses in crypto. Like that. Sure. That's what he is. But he himself, not let's not pretend he understands or wants even any part about this. Like, he just wants, as far as I can tell, he just thinks it should be a viable business in America, which I'm all for. But let's not pretend he's one of us, or is going to be doing this.
Yeah. I mean, if as I look at it, when you see somebody like him mention certain things, he mentioned Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana. These are all top 10 coins. ADA, right? He didn't mention any of the stable coins. Stopped right there before Doge. But he mentioned what he might consider coins that the masses might also respond to. So you're right. When you say masses, that really isn't truly crypto folk. And that doesn't mean that the masses that he's attracting or trying to encourage aren't crypto owners.
Yeah.
But they're not crypto people at all. And so when they see that, it's like XRP people aren't crypto people at all.
Right.
They want a social change.
Yeah.
A market change. I'm not going to go digress on that one, but it is a top 10 coin. So it's kind of smart for him to mention those coins from a marketing position. That's why he's encouraged to mention it. We don't understand why, because we can see some of the weaknesses or challenges some of those coins have, because we might lean more towards the decentralized ethic, and some of those are not. And so that's problematic for us. That's just personally, I think. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think he mentions what people have said. These are the top coins. Mention them.
Yeah. So when he signed the executive order, he said something like promise given, promise kept.
Yeah.
Right. And so you can see that it's not a personal thing for him. It seems that he has people around him that for whom like it was actually important. And sometimes we can't ask for too much. It's already something. Now we can see that those people are not necessarily the best people. We will talk about the crypto summit right after. But people that are around, we can see that when he posted on his platform, he announced the Bitcoin reserve or the crypto reserve that after got clarified, but he mentioned XRP, Solana, and ADA, right? So not even a mention of Bitcoin and Ethereum in that first post.
You're right.
Right? And then he answered to that post with, and of course, Ethereum and Bitcoin. And that's pretty insane to see that for people who definitely are moved by the ethical, all the ethical goodness that crypto allows, right? And it enables people to have so much more power than they had with other
that is true. So that's the benefit.
That's
the benefit.
So this is pretty sad to see that it's not necessarily the best approach, right? But in fact, the ones that have probably the most lobbying leverage to that get there, right? It's not that surprising, but it's still disappointing.
It's still disappointing, right?
Let's talk about these reserves for a second, because we've talked about it before, but he keeps calling the crypto fund, he keeps calling it a reserve, and so it's even more clear to me, like he's just saying things. So there is a legitimate effort to make a Bitcoin reserve. I think that's headed by Loomis, and the key with the Bitcoin reserve is that the government would stockpile Bitcoin in the same way that they used to kind of hold, stockpile gold. And the idea is that this is a reserve, that it's not supposed to be sold, and that it's, and in fact, they're not supposed to take loans out against it, but that will probably happen. But there's a difference between what a reserve is. It's supposed to be a long-term thing, similar to gold reserves held by central banks or held by governments, so it's not supposed to be sold. The difference, he keeps calling the U.S. digital asset stockpile, and again, there's legislation coming out about the U.S. digital asset stockpile, and he keeps calling that the crypto reserve. It's not a reserve at all. And in fact, people are like, yay, pump my bags. It's not that either. So the idea there is that when they confiscate digital assets, it'll go into this stockpile, and they will sell at their convenience or whenever they want to. And they can sell whenever they want. It's not a reserve in any way at all. And from the conferences I've gone to where both blockchain lobbyists and politicians have been at, they've been pretty clear about this. And so it's kind of weird to see him kind of speak about it in a way as if, hey, the government's going to pump our bags. That's literally not what's going to happen. And maybe at the summit, maybe because they didn't really say anything at it, maybe some of this dump is because people are like, hey, Trump's not saving this industry. He's just freeing the industry, and that's two very different things.
But that's okay. That's
of course.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, that's how it should be. I just want to free the industry. We should continue to be able to build on our own without government subsidies, without government this and that government that. Which brings us to the summit itself, right? So let's talk about that for a second.
Just to finish on the stockpile reserve, I just want to make sure it's clear that in the language of the executive order, it is basically said that Bitcoin can't be sold, but it is not to be acquired either. It is just through seizures, as you just said.
Yeah.
And but all the other assets don't have this limitation that it can't be sold unless specific reason. Like the others are just basically an open account that can go in and out without any limitation, right? While on Bitcoin, there is no mention of buying it. There was actually even declaration that they will not use taxpayer money to buy Bitcoin. And I do believe it has an impact, right? Like people were saying like, hey, gonna pump Bitcoin now because like a huge player is going to have to increase their reserve. It is not going to happen. And realistically, this was priced in because it was announced, right? So this is a disappointment for the markets. And of course, it is probably a driver of the current price too.
Yeah. So there's definitely no mandate to buy any, and definitely it's from seizure. So they're not going to buy any. They're not going to pump our bags, and they're just going to steal it from people.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's exactly
I will
right.
mention that there is a representative who introduced legislation to actually purchase BTC, but I don't think it went through. And it's only Bitcoin, not the other ones. So that's still up in the air.
Yes, so I have seen that, right? I've seen that now. The new speculation is that even if it's clear that it is not written, like it is written that they won't buy it, now they will try to pass another thing to buy it. So that's the new speculation. I think there will always be speculation, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, there are still good sides to that, right? Like it is more accepted, right? And in fact, the government buying Bitcoin has also a bad size. In reality, they already have more than like almost 200,000 Bitcoin, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's already one of the biggest Bitcoin holders. I think it's okay.
It's
For
okay.
Bitcoin, I don't think it's
You mean
good
they're not giving it back to Ross Ulbricht?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But we're keeping your Bitcoin, buddy.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If it was popular, a top 10 thing, he'd surround himself with all those important people like he just did now, and that's what would happen.
Yeah.
It's just they're doing things that give the appearance of, I don't know. We all want something, and I don't think we can all formulate that what we want is the same, right? Like what I might want would be different than what Neegs would want, and maybe different than what you would want.
Yeah.
So when you look at somebody who's the president, who's promised things that are sort of this broad topic, you have in an audience where you're speaking or visiting on these trips you're going on, you have 20, you have 100 different opinions on what they would have expected him to do. And so when we look at what he just did the vanilla generic mentions, and he did the vanilla generic, top coins. It's just an expression of him fulfilling something. And I think it's better to think about it like that, and then be better to thinking about it, making it more free for all of us as a potential than the government doing anything for us.
Yeah, that's
I
how
would rather
all industry should be, totally.
I would
yeah,
rather they step out of the way,
yeah,
and that's my rather.
But you
Yeah.
can see the crypto summit is exactly what it was, right? You can see that the approach is a lot more corporate to crypto. It's a corporate approach to
100%.
crypto, and it was also fairly disappointing. Like it was mixed with the FIFA thing, was
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
strange.
There's some stuff that I found
They-
interesting in there. Like we can see if I go through this list, right? So there's White House people there. That's fine. I don't believe that they're into actually making crypto like another economic layer to the world economy. I think they're in it for, hey, make America great and pump certain bags. Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple was there. He basically wants to capitalize on making a faster SWIFT. I mean, I honestly, that's what Ripple is. I mean, it's another alternative banking system thing. The whole reason crypto was invented was to be able to go around the banking system because it's nothing but friction pain. Michael Saylor, obviously very into BTC, very against crypto. He's the one who kind of really doubled down on the whole. There's Bitcoin and there's crypto, right? That there's no second best. Right? That's him. So he's not really about expanding crypto adoption. He's for BTC for savings.
Sure.
Paolo Ardoino from Tether, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. From Tether, I think he is he doesn't care about other cryptos existing. And I think more cryptos there are better for him, right? Because then you get pairs with Tether, and Tether is still the most popular stable coin. So I would expect that he's kind of kind of pro crypto. Plus, if the other platforms for Tether to be on become available in the future, he'll want Tether to be on them.
Yeah.
Kyle Samani from Multicoin Capital, they're big pushers of Solana. I'm not sure when I see somebody says Multicoin Capital and I look into them and I see most of their stuff is around Solana, I'm not really sure that they're about improving the whole economy, crypto economy, as opposed to the where they've got their bag. Kathy Wood, I think, from what I've read, I like her, and from what I've read about her, I think she's pretty pro crypto being another economy. I think she's got her head in the right place. Same with Charles Hoskinson. I know people love him or hate him. Obviously, he's pushing Cardano. However, I've seen.
But he wasn't there.
Was that? He wasn't there.
He wasn't on my
list. Really? He's on my list of people who are there.
Yeah, but that list wasn't actually official. And,
really?
And he commented about that, saying that he had seen himself on the list. He looked like if he had something, but in fact, he didn't get any invite.
So
he didn't get an invite,
It kind of goes more towards the fact that they didn't.
That's right. That's one of the rare that was actually there for crypto.
Yeah, because I saw CZ on the list, and I'm like, what? I don't even think he's allowed in the country at the moment.
Yeah.
Solana Foundation was there. Ethereum Foundation, I think Vitalik is. Was he there?
No, but I think it wasn't World Liberty Financial, his whatever the partner he has. Weren't they there?
I don't know. Probably, right? So that's just garbage. Now this Ondo thing, the response I saw everywhere for Ondo was, "Who the hell is that?" And so we looked into it, and Ondo is banks. Don't let them fool you. This is unbelievable, right? So nobody's ever heard of Ondo. They appeared in existence a month or two ago. Their coin, goes up 2,500%. And then when you go look into it, they call themselves a layer one. I'm like, great. So if they're a layer one, I should be able to run a validator. Nope. The people who can run Ondo validators are BlackRock, Morgan Stanley,
correct.
Thiel's group of people. It's totally, it's not crypto at all. That's banks also.
It may be blockchain, but it's not open blockchain. It may be crypto, but it's privatized.
Yeah. So I suspect that we're not the only ones who went through this list and said, who are these people, and what are their goals? And hey, this is not actually very pro crypto. This is pro bank.
Pro bank, exactly.
And that's that's a huge issue. And I think it's a huge issue. I'm not surprised Bitcoin and crypto in general, like if you saw not just Bitcoin, if you looked at other major coins, they're all way down. And I'm not too surprised after seeing this and seeing that whole summit where they had this summit and said nothing. Okay, now I blathered. You guys can talk on this.
No.
I think
I think you hit
on.
Ondo just fine.
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on. What is more concerning, but again, not that surprising, is that it's not only big institutions that are partnered with that, although it's also well-established projects now. They're really trying to connect with everybody, and this is something we could expect, right? Like when we were talking about crypto being more accepted, um, basically getting more legitimacy from the government, which is probably the last thing we really wanted. Um, in fact, it also gives now the green light to more institution-based services and companies,
Sure.
and those things will. I think flourish everywhere, and they will all call themselves decentralized and blockchain.
Exactly.
And yeah, people will have to refine their knowledge about what is and what is not the kind of services that is actually supporting their sovereignty. And I think there is a place for that. I mean, I think I've been consistent on that. I think it's great to have services like that. However, it needs to be clear it's not the same. You don't have, like, if you have problems, you have the bad opinion. We've seen that happening in Canada or things like that, right? Recently, then those services, you definitely are at risk, right? So you can use that. It's great, but then whenever there is all the validators are in control of one entity. I mean, I won't bring Binance Smart Chain again, but that's kind of the same thing, right? If you can't run a validator, you don't have control over the currency. That's as simple as that, right?
And I think I was just going to say, in the most simplistic way, that's what Satoshi was trying to give us, is a way that we had open participation. Maybe we've gone a little bit away from that. It's still open participation, but it's a lot harder to participate mining Bitcoin and participating. But this is purely a closed blockchain, a closed ecosystem. It may be supporting other chains and integrations, but when you have like Franklin Templeton and you have BlackRock and you have Wellington Management, and then you throw in all of these blockchains, and you're essentially running your own blockchain that's private, it's closed, you lose all the freedoms that Satoshi was trying to bring us. And that's the freedom away from these systems. This is a system that is built upon those freedoms and then reclosed it again. It's crazy.
There's two things important here. One is, when Satoshi came around, like, you could mine on your computer. And now if you look at this list of coins involved here, you can't participate as a validator on any of these. I mean, some people can, but the cost of a Solana validator is out of range. The cost of the equipment to validate for Ethereum and the amount you need for Ethereum is out of range. Even Cardano is delegated because running that equipment is out of range.
Or running Ripple validator, right? You have to be elected for that.
Yes, a Bitcoin miner is $5,000, and you get a reward once every 27 years. And so, so these are also out of range. It's one of the things I like about the Divi model, in that it's a lightweight validator, and the sidechain model, it decentralizes all the utility. And that's important here, because almost all of these centralize utility into a certain spot. And the part I'm worried about is the part that happens in every freaking industry that gets in bed with the government. So it's internet, it's it's farming, whatever. The biggest players get in bed and they start writing the bills, and the bills that they write for passing, they hand it to a senator or president or whatever, benefits them and makes it harder for everyone else. This is happens every single time. And we've been kind of like, the bad part of the government has been, it's been limiting us on what we can do as an industry. And now the bad part will be, okay, so now you can do what you want. However, these huge players with tons of money and banks, frankly, for almost half this list here,
Exactly.
are now going to be making the crypto rules. And they will not be in the favor of people who don't want to go through that, get licensed, or get, have their validators licensed, or whatever it is. Like that's going to be the path. They're going to, like.
So I just want to give some positivity on that. The first executive order that was written recognized self-ownership of crypto, recognized basically decentralized wallets and all that. So I think this is critical, and it was very, very important.
Yeah.
And what you say is right. However, it has never been a problem for Bitcoin and other crypto. If regulations try to go against it, that would be too bad for them, because the reality is you can't really stop it, right? So
I agree.
Of course, the mass, and that's kind of sad, but the mass will fall in the trap because that's how it works, right? But in reality, the jump from the current system to crypto is gigantic for a lot of people.
Of course.
And those could actually offer an alternative in between, that might actually lead people to realize that there is actually another path. So we'll see what we get, and we'll do what we can with it in any case.
I mean, we will. I mean, we'll probably walk around it, but I'm not worried about them stopping anything. I'm worried about, like, if I want to run a Bitcoin miner, I got to KYC somewhere. Like, that's stupid. But that absolutely, that is something they can do.
Of course, to prevent terrorism.
Yeah, right.
It's always like that.
And just to bring it back to Divi for a second, you make that joke, and it just came to me all of a sudden. One of the original reasons that proof of stake was mentioned was for the fact that if you did it where it didn't require something so powerful machinery-wise, or something so consumptive of energy, you could literally pack up and buy any kind of a computer. Because remember, the original Satoshi goal was one CPU, one vote. One CPU, one vote. And so when you're using what we would consider true proof of stake, which Divi has, it is one CPU, one vote. If somebody were going to censor something, and let's say they censored mining of sorts, it's very easy to look at the draw of electricity. It's very easy then to hear the noise. It's very easy to figure out because somebody says something about someone, and now you've confiscated all of the machinery. Well, in proof of stake, you don't have to carry machines anywhere. You have your seed words memorized. You move to another state, you move to another country, you buy any sort of a computer that's a basic fair computer in most cases, maybe sometimes a little bit more expensive, maybe not, and you just recover, and then you bang, you're back to validating. You have a little bit more flexible, I should say, crossing the borders, no pun intended, with your assets, because they're in your head, where you can't really get on a plane and bring your 3 Bitcoin miners. I can get on a plane with my seed words and buy another computer somewhere else and start validating again.
Yeah. So the mining thing can still be done in other countries. They will never block it everywhere. It's just not possible.
No,
sure, I understand.
I'm not talking about blocking it.
No. I was answering I think to the hypothesis of voice. Where
as a hypothesis, and I'm looking at it more centralized, where if a country says, I'm a citizen of the US, so if they say Bitcoin mining is illegal, they make it illegal. Well, I travel a lot. I can't really take a miner with me, but I certainly can bring a computer, and if they said no to that, I could certainly still go somewhere and I could buy another computer.
Yeah.
because I have all of the information memorized that I need to have. You plug that into your computer because it's based upon something else. And now you can start validating, and now you can start supporting the blockchain. Now you can make the blockchain stronger, and now you can start earning for that. It's beneficial participation. It's an opportunity for that, where if you make it illegal for certain things, yes, people will break the law and stay in that country and try to do it, but many won't. Many just give up.
I'm not worried about
Censorship
this.
is the problem.
I'm not worried about this administration making it like illegal to mine, or hey, you have to KYC to mine. What I'm worried about is the next one.
Exactly.
The tools will be in place to say, okay, now we'll do this next phase, and we'll try to tax it. We'll try to get control over it because it's here now, and they'll capitalize on it in some way because there is not an industry that they haven't done that with. And so like we are currently, I say we, those people, those projects that are trying to get embedded in the government right now are literally laying the foundation for exactly that. And I hate to get down on that, but that's what I see. I don't see actual freedom happening. I see like right now we're in a transition that makes us feel better. That said, I think projects like Divi and its sidechains and their partner, and there are still going to be projects that are going to make things such that it'll be very difficult to regulate anything about that, just because of the hardware needed, because everything will actually be trustless from one place to another. Utility won't be all in one place. Like all of those things kind of obviate the ability of these kind of this kind of legislation to control. And so honestly, I think we're doing great work there.
Always be careful of the bipartisan bills. That's the ones where you will have the restricted
bipartisan bills.
You can be sure of that.
And be careful of blockchains that can censor you.
Be careful of blockchains where you can't run a validator. If you can't
I wanted to say something on that. Those blockchains, you're basically just a customer. That's it.
Exactly.
If you can't run a node, you're just a customer of that blockchain, right? If you can run a node, then you're part of it. Like you are the blockchain. But if you can't, you're just using it.
You're just a customer.
Yes. Yeah. That's funny. It's kind of like the whole social media stuff, right? If it's free, you are the product.
Correct.
Right?
That's not wrong. That's not wrong.
All right.
We spent a long time on that.
Yeah, we did. Let's talk about Divi news in particular.
So Xeggex started to move a little bit. We've seen more and more people coming back and saying that they recovered their account. Unfortunately, we have a few also who were unable to get their account claimed. So, of course, if you are in that situation, we recommend to try to gather the most information possible and resubmit your claim. We have had now quite a few people who reported success in recovering their account. So I think it is pretty it's great to hear that it is moving forward. Of course, so don't be surprised if you are having USDT. You will have a promissory token until they are able to reconcile their whole database. And also, if you are having coins on the order book, it might also not appear in your wallet. If that's the case, you just go in the wallet page and then you click the button report missing balance, and then you give the details in there. They seems to be moving forward. It will take some time. You can imagine that reconciling, like if they don't have all the data, they want to make sure that basically the accounting is right. And so it's probably going to take a little more time before we actually get access to everything.
Did you have to do that? Did you fill out the click the button and fill out that you didn't have the correct balance? Did you do it?
I did. Yeah, I did do that because I had some Divi in the book order and those are not showing up in my account. So I basically described that. I don't have any answer yet. It happened a few days ago, but yes.
Did you get a confirmation message at all?
No confirmation message either. But I would expect that what was in the book order and coins that have a lot of usage, like USDT, will basically be the last thing to be reconciled, because it is probably a lot of work to be done.
I asked because I'm just confirming, because I did the same thing. I filled out I clicked the little button about the balance, and I filled out and sent a message, but I did not get any sort of support ticket message back that they had received it. So since you got the same thing, I'm going to assume that they get them, and then I'll just wait. So, all right, cool.
That's good.
Some people have received all of their Divi back. I've received messaging that there was a couple of people from another community, they received all their Divi and they were able to withdraw it. So some people who
So
probably
I would
had
assume
them,
that they didn't have the Divi on the book order, right?
correct.
So,
Correct.
So I think that's where the limitation is. Okay. So let's talk website and marketing directly. So because there's not much to talk about. So website, they're moving forward. We are expecting to have the final version in the next few days. So we'll probably be able to show you some kind of, pre-made version in an article in the next few days. Make sure you read the article that was posted on the blog. There you can see a prototype of the website. You can see detail about, and you can also see detail about the marketing effort. So update on this marketing effort. We selected the first marketing agency. Again, I'll send you back to this article, and you will see what they offer and the kind of KOL, so basically influencer strategy they propose. So those are just to give an example, but we're talking with them, trying to get a better offer, and we'll basically inform you about the detail of what we select whenever it's done. Again, something that's going to happen this week or next. I want to remind everyone that there is no reason for us to start that when Bitcoin just dropped below 80K, right? And we have to be smart with that timing. However, it would mean that we have that ready to start whenever the market is feeling a little more comfortable, and then we can start to push again on that. I also talked with Taz, which told me that she might be able to make it in one of the next Divi updates. So Taz is the one who helped raise the $15,000, motivated the whole community, and
That's awesome.
And yeah, so we recommend. So the agency and what we saw is really showing that we should probably push higher than the 15,000 that we raised. Again, I invite you to read that article and see what would be the benefits, and basically we will be talking also about that with Taz.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah, looking forward to having her on here.
Do you want to repeat the things we said last week about Treasury? I think we'll do the vote this week. I mean, the week where this video goes out. So maybe repeating the conditions. We actually went up to 28 million now from the 26 we had. Repeating about the vote. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So we want, for a number of reasons, we would like to move the funds out of the Treasury wallet into a second wallet. That will allow us to have that wallet's been there for a long time, so it secures the funds a little bit better, but it also allows us to stake and grow those reserves. And but we don't want to just do it, right? So we want to just kind of get some community buy-in to talk about it left and right. But it's important that we secure those funds and also help raise for future things we want to pay for. So anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think it is a repetition of what we said last time, but as we will have the vote, maybe some people weren't here or didn't see last video, and we're trying to have the most people taking part because it is something we would like to have the most support for. But that's what we want moving forward with that. So now let's maybe close on the events. You've been going around Hong Kong and then Denver. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I've been following our partner around. Hong Kong was, well, I just got to say, first of all, I just really liked Hong Kong as a city. I've never been there before. It was like literally between Singapore and Bangkok. It had a lot of cool stuff in it. It had enough grit to really be like a city. Tons of things there. If I wasn't working, there would have been tons of things to do. And it's enormous. Even though it looks like a dot on the map, it spreads across a bay, kind of like how San Francisco's on both sides. And there's just tons of things there. It's really, really fascinating city. Really enjoyed it. There was a lot of activity there. It was consensus there, so it was supposed to be kind of ETH based. Didn't see a lot of ETH there, ETH stuff. Most people building on other platforms or layer twos. Saw the biggest thing I saw there is because I also went to Denver. The biggest thing I saw there really was mostly about AI. I'm sorry, not there. Gaming was popular there. So this was in Asia, of course, and it looks like in Asia, blockchain plus gaming was a really big thing. I saw a lot of pretty interesting gaming platforms. Some of them had interesting ideas, some did not. Some were like, hey, and here's our token. But some of them had really interesting ideas around the assets in their games that they gather stories, kind of like when you read Lord of the Rings or whatever. The sword has a whole history associated about who owned it and what feats that sword accomplished, being wielded. So they're tracking. So as the assets get used in the game, each of the assets gather stories itself. So there's a lot of stuff that I thought was kind of cool and definitely useful. Like that, you clearly need blockchain for that. So I thought that was a pretty good use case for blockchain in gaming. I've in the past, you can talk to other people. I've been kind of down, like, what do you need blockchain for in gaming? And so I'm always very pleased to see kind of like, oh, there are actually things that would be useful, in gaming. And so I thought that was pretty cool. So again, a lot of gaming plus crypto in Hong Kong. As for our partner, I think they made a lot of connections that were really good. It looks like, I really can't talk about funding. So all I can say is like good connections, both for partners and for funding. And that's all I'm just going to say about that. Denver also went to, really like Denver as a city. That's a nice city. I really enjoyed it there too. It wasn't even cold. It was February, end of February, and it was up to 65 degrees. I went running in shorts. Wow. And so I happened to look out with the weather. And again, that's ETH Denver. Not a lot of ETH there. Saw some Solana, saw a lot of projects, saw a lot of Bitcoin. Like a Bitcoin Startup Lab was there. A lot of Bitcoin Layer 2 stuff there. And so to be clear, I didn't go to the actual event of either of these things. So what I'm talking about are the myriad of side events that are around these main events. And so when I go to side events, what I'm mostly seeing is really other platforms, people doing their own chains, and kind of ways to attach to Bitcoin. And unlike Hong Kong, it wasn't really, there was some gaming there, but it was really AI focused. And I saw a lot of, and once again, like the crypto part of the AI was, and we have a token in order to raise funds, like not really, like you need the crypto part. And in fact, I'm trying to think of a single project where you couldn't have done it, what they were doing without crypto. And one's not coming to me. I'm not saying one wasn't there. I'm just saying one isn't coming to me. So I'm seeing a lot of use cases of people training their LLMs to do a specific thing. Oh, I'm sorry. There is one called Libera. So they have a different kind of AI, which I thought was cool. Instead of a language model, it's a video model. So it's a large video model, or vision model. Maybe it was a vision model. And they are using blockchain and AI in a really neat way for both helping very small markets, and I mean like small kind of grocery stores in New York. I don't know if they're called bodegas everywhere, but those kind of stores that are all over like the Middle East and Indonesia, helping them know what's in their store and what needs to be replaced simply by them taking a picture. And so their LVM kind of takes a look at that, and then their customers can use crypto, and they can track assets through crypto. So something along those lines. So there was a crypto thing there, and it was AI, and that was one. Everybody else was like, hey, we've got this cool AI thing, and we have a token. Use the token to do the thing. And so that's pretty much how most of it was. Really, some very cool AI projects, though, doing pretty cool stuff. So they were fun. And again, didn't see a whole lot of like Ethereum stuff. But again, I did not go to the actual events themselves. So that's my update with a lot of
nice. And maybe you can say that, yeah, going with the partner, you basically get some kind of really nice participation in some events, and you get like direct contact with some like good people, like really quality people,
Yeah.
and it really helps moving forward with the partner. And in the end, it will also be very helpful for Divi. So yeah, about your comment about not much ETH, this is something that for those who follow a little bit on Twitter, the crypto industry, what is happening, Ethereum, like the Ethereum community is basically pretty pissed about what happened in Denver. They think that it was insane to hear about Solana and to hear about basically everything but ETH. And they're even talking about forking one of the next events. So
yeah,
it's
Oh, really?
some
I
some
didn't see
Bitcoin
that.
in some Bitcoin. I mean Ethereum actually drama.
yeah, it's kind of funny. Well, I mean, Solana's fixing issues with Ethereum, and there's chains fixing issues with Solana. So, like, I mean, I'm not surprised that they're there. They're all basically EVMs, right? They're not really they're programmable blockchains,
Yeah.
So it's not really they're not fundamentally different. So it sort of makes sense to me. Maybe it should just be EVM events or
Oh,
VM,
interesting. Yeah.
BVM, blockchain virtual machine events,
Yeah, BVM events. That would be better.
as opposed to BitVM, which is a different thing.
Cool. So we had another topic. We wanted to go through another project and compare it with what we have, but I think we're already at almost an hour. So I think it will be good for now, and then we'll push that back again. Yeah. So we went through Bitcoin Reserve, the price dump, and some Divi news, and yeah, I think it was good.
Yeah,
I think it was good too. I was wondering. I was going, this is going on a long time.
Yeah.
Got to get to another topic. But hey, we enjoyed this one. I hope everyone listening does too. And if you have ideas and topics you'd like us to speak about, I'm digressing here, but yes, we'd love to hear from you
yes,
and how we relate those to what side chains will do.
Yeah.
And how that may benefit you or offer opportunities for you to help others benefit just the community in participation and making it all better. So make sure you send those questions in. I don't know, guys. What else do you want to add? I think we're all done.
No, that's great. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.